All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We had a meeting that ran a little bit longer prior to this one. It's 7:09 p.m. We'll announce that a quorum is present. We call to order this City Council regular meeting. Everyone, please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your heads. Gracious God, ground us in the sacred duty of governance. As members gather in these council chambers, infuse each heart with a steadfast dedication to serve our city's people. Let no distraction disrupt, nor laziness loom over this hallowed assembly. Rather, empower us with a focused attentiveness and disciplined action to spearhead meaningful progress. May your wisdom be our guiding lighthouse amidst the fog of unpreparedness or indifference. In Jesus' name, we pray for enduring diligence and unwavering commitment until every task is fulfilled to completion. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated, those of y'all who do have a chair. We're going to start off with some proclamations, and very excited to honor the groups that we have today in front of us. So first up is declaring the week of May 11th through May 17th Police Week. And it reads, recognizing National Police Week 2025 and honoring the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in line of duty while protecting U.S. communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including all dedicated Manor peace officers. And whereas since the first recorded line of duty death in 1786, more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice in being killed in the line of duty. Currently, there are 24,412 names engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 345 names of the fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 148 officers killed in 2024, 197 officers killed in previous years. Whereas of the 148 officers killed in 2024, on average, left behind 2 children, whereas 18 of the 148 officers killed in 2024 were from Texas, which accounts for 12% of officer line of duty deaths, the highest in the nation, and the most officer fatalities. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 37th Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2025 in the nation's capital. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor of the City of Manor, on behalf of the Manor City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 as Police Week in the City of Manor, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation, and be it further resolved that the downtown Manor Water Tower be lit in blue May 11th through to May 17th, 2025. Proclaimed the 7th day of May 2025, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor, City of Manor. Thank you, officers, for your duty. Yes, you can give a clap. Not only your service in patrol and crime prevention, but also your work that you do with our youth and our families, and always working to keep us safe. So thank you all. We're going to do a photo, okay, let's go down for a photo.
So we could do up here.
Wait, I can't see. Councilman, Councilmember Musca. There you are. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right. All right, next up, we have declaring May 18th through May 24th, 2025 as Public Works Week. And that one reads, whereas public work professionals are dedicated and central contributors to our communities, ensuring the infrastructure that supports our daily lives, including transportation systems, water systems and supply, wastewater management, and public spaces. And whereas the city of Manor relies on the expertise of dedication of our public works employees who work tirelessly to maintain, improve, and expand these critical systems to enhance the quality of life for all of our citizens. Whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are water and wastewater operators, utility street work employees, management at all levels of government, and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, wastewater treatment, streets, parks maintenance, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities is essential for our citizens. And whereas we should acknowledge the hard work and dedication and commitment of public work professionals who strive to enhance the safety, health, and overall well-being of citizens of Manor. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor of the City of Manor, and on behalf of the Manor City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 4th, 2025 as Public Works Week, and encourage all citizens to recognize our public works first responders and celebrate the significant contributions of our public works professionals in their daily lives and throughout our great city. In witness hereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Manor to be affixed this 7th day of May 2025. Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor, City of Manor. And again, we definitely want to thank you all for all your hard work and what you do for the community, especially all the events that we've added to the calendar that you all tirelessly ensure the setup and the takedown happens. So we definitely appreciate your service. The community feeling that we're building here and the safety and security of our events is partially because of the work that you all do on hand with our police department. So thank you for very much. Let's do a photo. Y'all gonna do the same thing? Y'all can sit back.
Matt, this side from Timmy over.
No, I'm just gonna lean this way.
Two of y'all. Okay, ready? Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got it.
I know, yeah. I was like, for the, that was yesterday, what was it? We did this on Friday.
All right. C, declaring the month of May as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And this proclamation reads, whereas Motorcycles are common and efficient means of transportation for thousands of Texans, including many residents in the city of Manor. Motorcyclists are entitled to the same rights and consideration as any motor vehicle operator on the road. And whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation that contributes to the economy and cultural vibrancy of our community. Whereas motorcycle riders are more vulnerable to injury and fatality in traffic crashes than drivers of other vehicles, and increased public awareness can help reduce the number of motorcycle-related incidents. And whereas it is essential that the residents of Maine be aware of motorcycles on the road and recognize the importance of sharing the road safely with all vehicles, including 2- and 3-wheeled motorized vehicles. Whereas the Texas Department of Transportation and numerous organizations across the state work year-round to promote motorcycle safety and offer training programs for both riders and drivers. Whereas May is recognized across the nation and in the state of Texas as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month, providing a valuable opportunity to remind all motorists to remain alert and drive responsibly. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor of the City of Manor and neighbor, on behalf of the Manor City Council, do hereby proclaim month of May 2025 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the City of Manor and urge all motorists and residents to join in promoting safe driving practices, heighten awareness of motorcyclists on the road, and mutual respect among all roadway users. And with this hereof, I hereunto set my hand and call the seal of the City of Manor to be affixed the 7th day of May 2025. Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor, City of Manor. Y'all come on up, take a photo.
I'm not taller. We can take them at the same time. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, we don't need no workers' comp. All right, public comments. Non-agenda item public comments will be on the white card, and then agenda item public comments on the yellow card. Comments on the white card. These comments will be taken from audience members. Non-agenda related topics will at the time not to exceed 3 minutes. And yellow card items are not to exceed 5 minutes, except on public hearings where you have 2 minutes per person. But I don't think we have any of those today. So we do. Two white, yeah, I'm talking about public hearing, the yellow cards. We don't have those for public comments. Those are agenda items. To address the city council, please complete the white and yellow card prior to the and present it to the designated area prior to the meeting. All right. We'll start off with Ms. Faye Carter. And you will have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I just want to say thank you all for what you do. And I'm so proud of Mainers, really looking good, building up so wonderful. I'm really proud of my city. And, the last time I was here, I was saying how I would appreciate, I did march with Dr. King and, well, not with him, under his tutelage, if you call it. And I think he knew this could be a really great country, and so he's willing to give his life so that we could be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for everybody. So I decided, wouldn't it be good if we celebrate different ethnicities and tribes and tongues and different types of people, if we could come together and learn what other people's, why they celebrate whatever they celebrate. Because I know I want everybody to celebrate Juneteenth, Dr. Martin Luther King, Black History Month. I want y'all to celebrate everything that my people celebrate. So I just started with Cinco de Mayo Day. So I was in line at A Plus, and I was telling everybody Happy Cinco de Mayo Day, and people just loved it, and they were just all over me, and it's just such a good feeling to come together and unite instead of separating and really being angry with each other and not being the United States that we're supposed to be. So I met a new friend, and we're talking. She's Hispanic, and I'm Black. And so, in case you didn't notice it, oh, just a little humor there. And so, anyway, I just want to encourage us as a country to come together and find out why people celebrate holidays that they celebrate, and that can help us to be more of a United States. And I think we are the greatest country in the world. I think we're the leader of the free world. And I think it's not by accident. I think it's because we're one nation under God. And I think he has skin in this game. And so he wants us to show other countries and peoples how to get along, how to make your country great, how to have a great future and leave a great legacy for your people. And so I was just really thankful that I could step out and do that. I don't know, I'm 82 now, so I must have been about 70 when I realized it was a difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. You know, I'm like, why they got two like that? And then I finally studied on it. And I mean, we should know our holidays. We should know what makes us great. We should know why we are to leave the legacy for our future and for our children. I'm a believer, and Jesus said, a country divided against itself, that's how it destroys itself. A marriage, a church, a school. Is my time up?
Yeah.
It's up.
It's
Okay.
up. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just getting started. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
y'all, and thank you for your service and everything.
Thank you.
Okay. What I'm going to say, hook 'em horns and God bless America.
All right. Next, we have Miss Visco. Come on up. Yes, and you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am here because I want to I want to thank the city manager and the mayor for all the support they've given me for its Black History and Juneteenth and all the events that we are given here in Manor. And the funds that was left over from Black History, we was able to do Cinco de Mayo on Monday. Although the weather was bad, but we was able to work through that, and we had about 14 seniors out, and I bought decoration. I cooked on Sunday night. We had tacos, beans, and rice. So I just want to praise and thank God for city manager and the mayor for always supporting things that I do. You think I don't like it, but I'm grateful and thankful, very grateful and thankful, because the things that I do. Sometimes I cook twice a week for there's a few homeless people here in Manor. I know where to find them, but I'm just grateful and thankful. And I just want to thank you guys for everything you support me with.
Yes, ma'am.
To God be the glory.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to public hearings. Conduct a public hearing on levy and assessments in improvement area number 1 of Entrada Glen Public Improvement District. Mr. Burrell. Oh, great. Okay. Come on up, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. It's good to see you. My name is Gregory Miller with Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Acosta, serving as your bond counsel. And this first item is in connection with the Entrada Glen Public Improvement District. And as a council, you've been through several of these before. So if I skip over some items you'd like more detail on, please let me know. So we're here tonight to take care of two items. The first one is the levy of assessments over the district. And those assessments in turn are going to be used to pay the PID bonds, which are the second item that we're here to consider. The levy of assessments will be in accordance with the service and assessment plan that has been presented to you. It will show the use of funds, it'll show the improvements to be built with the funds, and it'll show how the benefits of those improvements and the cost of those assessments are allocated across the properties. So I should add, included with the service and assessment plan is the assessment roll, and it will show per lot, per parcel, how much of the assessments are allocated for that. So this is going to be the first step, and the Texas statute, Chapter 372, requires a hearing on the levying of those assessments, and that's what we're here to do right now.
Okay. Council members, do you have any questions?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 1.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Amesco. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving right along. Public hearing number 2. Public hearing number 2. Conduct a public hearing on the issuance of improvement area number 1. Bonds for Entrada Glen and Improvement District. Yes, sir.
Thank you. And as mentioned, the second hearing is a follow-up on the first one where you levy, if you do consider the item and do decide to authorize the levy of assessments, those assessments would be used to pay down the Public Improvement District bonds. And it's practice of City of Manor to have hearings prior to the issuance of bonds. And so that is what we're doing here. Following the hearing, or even before, if you like, Robert Rivera with FMS Bonds, who is the underwriter, took the bonds out to market and has information about the pricing that you can hear now or consider with the item when it comes up. But this is the hearing for the issuance of bonds.
Okay. Any questions, council members? I'll take questions or a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 2.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Mesquite. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving right along, public hearing number 3, conduct a public hearing on rezoning application of 2 lots on 23.809 acres more or less, and being TCAD parcel 236885, also known as 12522 and 12542 Old Kimber Road, Manor, Texas, from agriculture to IN2 heavy industrial.
Mayor, Council, my name is Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. This property is for Wanek Materials. They recently went through the process of completing their annexation, and as opposed to having their first hearing at the last council meeting, it was chosen to be the public hearing was left open to be continued at this meeting so that the full council was available for consideration. The reason for that is that the Planning and Zoning Commission did suggest a lesser zoning of industrial light, and to allow for the possibility of a supermajority vote, the entire council was recommended to be present.
Thank you. Any questions, council, about the applicant in the rezoning application? Or any questions regarding the IN2 versus the light industrial?
Yes, I had a question about that.
Mhm.
With the, I guess planning and zoning, they wanted the lesser amount or the lesser value, the IN1. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay. But the city recommend IN2?
Yes, because of the intended use of the owner of the property, IN1 would not allow them to operate properly. They do not produce chemicals, but they transport them to the site and from the site to their partners in Taylor. Am I allowed to say that? Okay, yeah, they work with Samsung. So they bring things to their site, they make minor alterations, or they clean certain parts, and then they ship those off to Samsung. But in order to do that, the industrial light zoning would not allow them to, just because of the type of chemicals they have with either corrosives or, I hesitate to say this, explosive, but there are steps being taken to ensure that that is not a major concern. And if it is a major concern, even with the proper zoning, they will not be allowed to proceed with their building until those concerns are adequately addressed.
Are there any restrictions added on to the IN2?
No.
Just for a little history on the project, Scott Jones, Economic Development Director. A little history on the project. The first representative of Wanik from South Korea contacted me by email back in August of 2022. They started looking for a site. They were interested in the city of Manor. And so I connected with them and started talking to our development services director at the time, Scott Dunlop, and we started showing them some areas of town. We were working then on the strategic plan for the city, and we started corroborating with Wanik and showing them some areas that we were working on our future land use map at the time. So we worked with Freese and Nichols to find the areas of town that were most conducive to their use. And so those areas were going to be up 1100 in that employment center that on our future land use map is shaded in purple, and also down Old Kimbrough Road, which is along the railroad tracks on Parsons, and the Old Kimbrough Road area, which is east of Manor Commercial Park. And that's also shaded in purple on the future land use map. So we looked at those two areas. The area that was most conducive and closest to utilities at the time was the Old Kimbrough Road area, that probably we could run utilities to and get those utilities to them in the quickest amount of time. So based on that information, we showed them several sites, and they ultimately they went through a couple of different contracts with a couple of different property owners, but they ultimately picked a site and were successful purchasing that 23.6 acre, I believe, piece of property from Red Ventures. And so based on that information, we showed them the site, and we told them where it was best located for that industrial type zoning. So that's where we are right now.
Other questions, council members?
I have one more.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Just wondering if the residents that were around that area, did they have any comments to or any concerns?
So we did have one resident in particular come out to speak about his concerns of the property. He stated that he was in the military, he was in the service, and he was exposed to dangerous chemicals before. So we wondered what the essentially game plan was for it being in such close proximity to his home. And those questions were taken into consideration at the initial Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that this item was heard at. And to address them, the item was postponed until they could bring their fire consultant, and we could also have Travis County Emergency Services District 12 come in to speak to the item. And for all intents and purposes, those questions were addressed, and we assured both the commission and any residents who were present at the meeting or watching that even with the zoning approved, if there is a hazard or concern that cannot be addressed, the development will not proceed.
Yeah. So thank you for clarifying that, because I want to make sure that, because I know there was some miscommunications that went out from that meeting. Safety actually is no development will move forward if it's not safe, and that's part of our fire code and all of our codes. So I think there was a misconception that kind of circled through P&Z and the community that, you know, a building could be built or a business could be established that's not safe. and that's not all that's not at all the case. So thank you for providing clarification. Other questions?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 3.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Moreno. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. I'll close by just stating this. This is a project that that I think we as council was in favor of, and have, you know, already publicly established that, not only because of it meeting our needs to bring jobs to our area, but also because of the economic impact. So I just want to make sure that the public is aware of that. This is part of our comprehensive plan and the job opportunities that we'll be bringing to the city, not only for the city, but workforce develop opportunities. So we're definitely excited about our relationship with WANET. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving right on to
Mayor, council members, Shruti Vanaparthi, Assistant City Attorney. Due to the ongoing litigation, we would need new motions from different council members to second on public hearings, items number 1 and 2, to close the public hearings.
Thank you very much. Public hearing number 1, conduct a public hearing on levy assessments in improvement area number 1 or of the Entrada Glen Public Improvement District. Do we have a motion to close that public hearing? To reconsider by which one? Ms. Wallace? Okay. Okay.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion
close that
that we reconsider public hearing item number 1.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace and second by Councilwoman Mesqua. So to reconsider item number 1. Item number 1 is now back on the table. And do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 1.
We have a motion on the floor to close the public hearing by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor,
Number
Council,
2. We're almost there. Conduct a public hearing on issuance of improvement area number 1 bonds for Entrada Glen Public Improvement District. Is there a motion to reconsider item?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider item number 2.
We have a motion for by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mesqua.
Second, sorry.
Second by Councilwoman Mesqua. All in favor for reconsideration? All right, motion passes. Item number 2 is now reconsidered. Conduct a public hearing on issuance of improvement area number 1 bonds for Entrada Glen Public Improvement District. Is there a motion to close?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 2.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. Item number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any question to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Thank you all very much, and thank you for the correction. Consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by council and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on items unless requested by a mayor or council member, in which event will be removed for consent agenda considered separately. Number 4, consideration, discussion, possible action to approve city council minutes. 5, consideration, discussion, possible action on agreement between the city of Manor and the Hub HUV International for benefit connector services, and consideration, discussion, possible action on the community engagement coordinator position and pay scale. Any questions or items that want to be pulled? Seeing none, is there a motion on the floor?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as read.
We have a motion on the floor for the approved consent agenda by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Mesquite. Any questions to the motion? Questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Regular agenda item number 7, consideration, discussion, possible action on ordinance of the city of Manor taking, Texas, making a finding of special benefit to the property in Entrada Glen Improvement District, providing for the method of assessment, special assessments against property in the district, approving assessment rolls for improvement area number 1 of the district, levying special assessments against property within the district on delinquent assessments, establishing a lien on the property within improvement area number 1 of the district, approving a service and assessment plan, providing for related matters in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code, providing an effective date and providing for severability. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Gregory Miller, Bickerstaff Heath, Delgado Acosta. In relation to the first hearing that you held, this is for the levy of assessments for the financing of certain public improvements in improvement area number 1 of the Entrada Glen PID. The levy of assessments, as mentioned, will be done through the adoption of the service and assessment plan, which lays out the cost of the improvements and the allocation of costs per parcel that will be levied and used to pay down the PID bonds. As indicated, there's a lot of details that go into that, and a lot of financial information and details that you'll probably want to learn more about either tonight or over time. And to that end, Mr. Casey Sklar with P3 Works is here. His firm is the one who came up with the service and assessment plan. Versions of this have been in circulation, and you've seen prior drafts of this. And so this item is to approve those and levy the assessments stated in those rules.
Okay. Council members, do you have any questions about item number 7?
Was there any public comments from the time that it was posted for the public hearing in the journal from the time?
I know that Mr. Barokin.
Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. There was an inquiry from the Manor Grand Apartments new owners. The complex was recently purchased by a different entity, and they were asking essentially if what was presented would be the assessments that were levied on them. And that's the individual I did reach out to Gregory about.
Other questions?
Gregory, did we get so we got the authorization from the new owners of Manor Grand?
Yes, so the new owners of Manor Grand is the Pleasanton Housing Finance Corporation. That property has been turned into a housing finance corporation project. We have received a consent, an agreement to the assessments from them. It has been signed by the administrator of the Public Facility Corporation. We've been working with their attorney for that. It's going to get ratified by the president of the board tomorrow morning. So we'll have that wrapped up by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. But we have their attorney. We've been working with their attorney on this.
Okay. And then we'll probably need to have just a conversation with council and the PFC, Manor PFC, just in regards to that whole situation. I know a communication went out, but we need to discuss that in person.
Okay.
All right.
And to that end, I believe we are setting up a meeting for the 12th or the 21st. So it's going to be an overview of that project and then the Tower Road project as well.
Okay.
So.
All right. Other questions, council members? If not, I entertain a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance number 784, making a finding of special benefit to the property in the Entrada Glen Public Improvement District, providing for the method of assessment of special assessments against property in the district, approving assessment rolls for improvement area number 1 of the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, providing for payment of the special assessments, providing for penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, establishing a lien on property within improvement area number 1 of the district, approving a service and assessment plan, providing for related matters in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code, providing an effective date and providing for servability.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, consideration, discussion, possible action on ordinance authorizing the issuance of the City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bonds, Series 2025, the Trotter Glen Public Improvement District Improvement Area Number 1 project, approving and authorizing an indenture of trust, a bond purchase agreement, limited offering memorandum, a continuing disclosure agreement, and other agreements and documents in connection therewith, making findings with respect to the issuance of such bonds and providing an effective date. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And this, of course, is a follow-up to item number 2, the hearing considering the issuance of bonds. By passing this order, you'll authorize the issuance of bonds in an aggregate amount of $9,658,000, and also authorize the execution of all of the related documents to complete the transaction. Underwriter FMS Bonds went out to the market today to price the bonds, and Robert Rivera is here, and Chris Lane is here too, and they can talk about the details of the financing.
Okay.
Hello, Mayor, Council. For the record, I'm Chris Lane, your financial advisor with Samco Capital Markets. As Gregory mentioned today, we went out in the market for $9,658,000 in Trotter Glen PID bonds. The true interest cost for the transaction was $721. We had 4 buyers. They're all funds: Goldman, Franklin, Nuveen, and First Eagle Investments. The transaction got done. We reviewed it with our underwriting staff. We double-checked all the numbers. Everything is in order, and we had no comments or changes to what happened today. Does anybody have any questions about the transaction?
Any good rates?
I'm sorry?
Are we in line for good rates, or what's the?
Well, yeah, this
Okay.
this is a limited offering,
Okay.
so there's only the funds, large
To it.
bond funds buy these kind of bonds. So these are not sold to mom and pop, and it's a high risk transaction, which is why the interest rate's higher.
Okay.
Some of the other PID bonds that have been in market lately have been up to the 7% and higher than this too. All rates are up.
Yeah.
I
That's why I
sold
was
city
curious.
bonds that are AA1 like yours
Mhm.
at a 438 just a few weeks ago.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious what it would be right now.
Oh yeah, rates are way up.
Yeah. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 785, authorizing the issuance of the City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bond Series 2025 and Trotter Glen Public Improvement District Improvement Area Number 1 project, approving and authorizing the indenture of trust and bond purchase agreement, a limited offering memorandum, and continuing disclosure agreement, and other agreements and documents in the connection therewith, making findings with respect to the issuance of such bonds, and providing an effective date.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? No questions. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. First reading, consideration, discussion, possible action on the ordinance rezoning 2 lots on 23.809 acres more or less and being TCAD parcel 236885, also known as 12522 and 12542 Old Kimber Road, Maynard, Texas, from Ag A, agriculture, 2, IN 2, heavy industrial. All right, council members, do you have any questions for Mr. Burrell? If there's no additional questions, I'll move to a motion.
Mayor, Council would like to make a motion that the City Council approve the first reading of an ordinance rezoning for 2 lots on 23.809 acres, more or less, and being TCAD parcel 236885, also known as 12522 and 12542 Old Kimbrough Road, Manor, Texas, from A, agricultural to industrial 2, heavy industrial.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Rayner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Since it was something that we kind of had started back into 2022, when there was like a difference in our development and growth, are they also kind of growing with the change because it's on a road such as Old Kimbrough? Will they be able to? Are they going to be okay with like the expansion of that space, or just kind of making that area suitable or feasible? I guess because with bigger trucks going down that road now, it's kind of bad. But are they able to, or do they know that they have to grow with the change with that as they go?
Yes, so there have already been discussions about the state of Kimbrough Road, the improvements they'd have to make to their portion of it, as well as potential thoroughfare going through their site to allow for more connectivity in general for the city, going from Old Kimbrough all the way across to Baltex.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the road. My apologies, my memory is failing me. But they are aware of that, and it's something that's being contemplated with their development discussions.
And I'd like to add to Mayor Council, we've been looking at, when we look at expanding utilities, is to talk to property owners on both sides of Kimbrough about securing additional easement or right of way. So that way, if we have to expand or with utilities, the intent is to make sure we have enough secured. So if we have to expand in the future, we know where to place the utilities with the intent of knowing the road would get expanded and not have to move the utilities a second time. So the goal with us is to make sure we secure what we need from the different parcels on the west side of Old Kimbrough, and then go to the east side with the intent to make sure we have it basically a setback for us to be able to accomplish that. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? All right, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving right along. Next item is second and final reading, consideration, discussion, possible action on ordinance rezoning 1 lot on 0.031586 acres, more or less, being TCAB parcel 238781, also known as 309 Lexington Street, Manor, Texas, from SF1 single family suburban to NB neighborhood business. Yes, sir.
Mayor Council, Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. This is the hearing, the first reading that was held at the last City Council meeting is for Mr. Jeff Turner, the property that's quite literally across the street from us outside, with the intent to be used essentially for the needs of the immediate neighborhood. If I'm not mistaken, and Mr. Moore can correct me, there have been conversations about the city potentially using that as something, either facilities for employees or other things of that nature. And Mr. Turner, you can also correct me if I'm mistaken. Yes, so that's a callback to Councilmember Moreno's question of if he's been willing to work with the city. So already have wheels turning, just got to seal the deal.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any questions, council members?
We have any idea how long the renovations will take?
I would have to have his building plans in front of me to give that, but from previous discussions, and again, correct me if I'm mistaken, it's nothing over $50,000 worth of renovation, so it wouldn't be a very long or extensive process, just essentially making it office ready, for lack of better phrasing.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, being done, is there a motion on the floor?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that the city council approve ordinance number 786, rezoning one lot of 0.3156 acres more or less, and being TCAD parcel 238781, also known as 309 Lexington Street, Maynard, Texas, from SF1 single family suburban to NB neighborhood business.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Weir. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Additional questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving right along to, let's see. Oh, come back up. There we go. All right, yeah, item number 11. Consideration, discussion, possible action on an interlocal agreement between Manor Independent School District and the City of Manor, and for the summer library program. Want to recognize our esteemed guests that are here from the district, Dr. Samani, out here, Superintendent and Chief Matthew Bentz, and Ms. Chastity. So.
Good evening. My name is Chastity Hawthorne. I am the secondary math coordinator at Manor ISD. I am here to talk about the Summer Libraries program in hopes that we continue our partnership with the City of Manor. We've listened to the feedback and we have extended the program for a longer amount of time, so it's going to go up until July 25th. We're going to be at Lagos Elementary as well as Manor Rise Elementary and Decker Middle School. And then the Reading on a Go bus will go on its various stops. I have the flyer here if we could post it so we could start promotion, because I know that was another thing that they wanted more promotion earlier. Altogether, the program cost is $44,050, and we hope to continue the partnership. Are there any questions?
Any questions, council members?
I just want to say thank you for taking in consideration what we have said about having our downtown people be able to have access.
Absolutely.
Other questions?
I had a question about volunteering. Is there is that on the website also? Like, I guess if there's a way to volunteer.
Actually, if you want to reach out to me, then we can give you the schedule and let me know when you would like to come. You can volunteer.
I have one more question. I remember last year that you guys also, because it was the hotter times of the day, that y'all had like little waters and y'all had little toys and stuff like that. Does the amount also include that we are contributing, or that 44? Does that also include?
Yes, ma'am. That's for the incentives, and the lunch is free. It's provided with the food services, so the water will be free as well.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay. Keep it clean. I will not vote on this one.
Okay.
But I will call for the motion and the vote. So,
Mayor and Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement between Manor Independent School District and the City of Manor, and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement.
do I need to step in the back?
Second.
Do I need to step in the back? We're good? Okay. We have a motion for Councilwoman Wallace, second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
I would also like to say, I took a few kids to the Reading on the Go bus. We had to chase it down a little bit, but they actually enjoyed all of the books that they received, and they enjoyed the lunch too.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. Have a good evening. Moving on to number 12, consideration, discussion, possible action on a change order to the construction contract for FY fiscal year 2022 Capital Metro Pavement Improvements Project. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Pauline Gray, GBA, City Engineer. This is a change order to wrap up, finally, the fiscal year 2022 paving project. Basically, at the end of these projects, we do a true up. There was one street section where we thought we could do mill and overlay. We had to end up doing the full depth repair, which is a little bit more costly. And so that was what the increase was for that.
Any questions, council members?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that the City Council approve change order number 3 for the fiscal year 2022 Capital Metro paving project in the amount of $53,349.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 13, consideration, discussion, and possible action on submission of a closeout documentation to the Capital Metro for the fiscal year 2022 Capital Metro Pavement Improvements Project. Yes, ma'am.
So this is basically, in order to get the funds released from Cap Metro, we have to submit documentation, the pay apps, you know, also. So I prepare a letter with all the requirements, and this is just to let Mr. Moore sign it and send it in. I can say that for some reason at the beginning of the project, Cap Metro did not send the first 50%. So when we reach out to them with this, the city is going to get a little over $1 million back from Cap Metro to put for future paving projects. Okay. So this is just to submit the documentation to get that process going.
Thank you. My request to you all would also be to, I haven't checked in a while, so maybe you did it, but just to make sure that you're updating website and social media posts on the projects you're completing, so people can see the work that's been done over the years. Because sometimes we'll post and we'll say work's been done.
We have maps for that, and attached in your packet was what was with this project. But we do have one thing that's going back the previous 5 years. I just need to know who to send it to get it on the website. But we do have the map.
Website and social media.
Yeah, like some before and after pictures, or so, you know.
Oh yeah. So we've got more exhibits that we can send over and get it up there. And I think y'all can send it out.
I think what we can do is we can maybe add something to the website for projects, and that way when people click on it, we can have a link to show if there's more photos, and that way they can look at year by year. So that way if they see the map, they see that. So if we go propose something for the next round of funding, we'll see which ones are not covered. So that way it gives the public a good chance to see what we've done before.
Right, and it does have the mileage, and like I say, for 2022, we did the most ever, which was about 2 miles.
Right.
So we are getting more funds from Cap Metro, so it's letting us expand. So we will probably be at the June meeting coming with the list for 25 projects to send to Cap Metro.
All right. Other questions? Take a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve and authorize the city manager to submit the closeout letter, documentation, and request for the remainder of the allocated funds for the fiscal year 2022 Capital Metro paving improvement projects in the amount of $1,065,048.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? No questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Moving right along to item number 14, consideration, discussion, possible action on a Manor Water master plan.
Attached to in your packet was the overall water master plan. I don't know, there is a presentation if you like it, like a brief summary. I know a few weeks back we came in and talked about the wastewater master plan. It's the same sort of process for the water master plan. Do you want me to go through? So basically, a brief introduction what the goals were, go over the existing system and facilities, the water demand in areas of growth, water system evaluation, and then what the improvements or recommendations are. Basically, the goal was to define deficiencies, develop projections as the city system grows, how much water we're going to need, determine what needs to be improved in order to meet those, and develop a capital improvement plan. So this is a list of the existing facilities. There's the 3 wells that provide approximately 1 million gallons of water to the city a day. There's a 165,000 gallon clear well tank. The tank was replaced in 2024. And then there's 125,000 intermediate tank that was replaced in 2024. There's a 500,000 gallon elevated storage tank on Joyce Turner by the schools. There's the West Epcor intake point that's over there on Greg Maynor. It's located near the Shadow Glen elevated storage tank. Then there's the downtown pump station with 150,000 gallon storage tank that's over there by the police station. Then there's the East Epcor intake point, and that's up there off of Greg Lane. And then we have the 500,000 gallon elevated storage tank located out in Presidential Heights. Future improvements, right now, I'm sure you've seen it. There are 2 groundwater storage tanks, a hydromatic tank, and a booster pump station being constructed off Greg Maynor. We're hoping to have those online by June. We have run into a few issues, but we're hoping we can get them addressed. And then there'll be another. It's gonna be the same setup with the 250,000 gallon tanks, a 10,000 hydrant, and the booster pump station. And it's gonna be off Greg Lane. And what that's going to do is all the growth that's up in that area help with the pressures, because there's not that much stuff out there right now. The few houses, they are having issues with water pressure. And then, like I said, there's the water supply. I know there have been discussions regarding additional water from EPCOR. So that's what we have now. And if you recall, when we did the 2023 certificates of obligation, there was funding that was approved to look into additional water sources that the city could own and operate.
Because weren't we going to talk, wasn't that the time we were talking about drilling some wells?
Yes, and so we're working on a proposal now to have a hydrogeologist come in. There's existing wells. There's one over by the police station. And then, Matt, where's the other one? But yeah, there's 2 existing well sites that we're going to look at and see if it's possible. We have to drill some test wells and see what the water quality is. The reason that those 2 well sites aren't being used currently is the water it needed additional treatment, and it's very hot. Where the wells are now is from the Colorado alluvium, and so it's a little bit, it's better water quality. The city doesn't really have to treat it with very much. And so that's what you have to look at. And part of the other agreement would be to, it's going to have 2 things, and if there's enough money left in the budget to go ahead and do testing on the existing wells to see if we upsize them or something, if we could get more out. But like I said, that'll be in the future. And then basically we went in and we looked at the entire distribution system. Right now there's about 25 miles of water mains in the city. Luckily 85.6% is PVC, but there are materials such as duct iron, cast iron, asbestos concrete, and those are going to have to be replaced eventually, because you don't construct water lines with that stuff anymore. But it's primarily in the old part of the city. And so this is just showing the water demands. We've shown you this before with the EPCOR discussions, basically showing, when the city's going to need water. And that just goes through all the currently being developed and future, showing what the water is going to be needing. That's the one where it shows when the city is going to need more water, which right now is 2027. And this is just another. This shows how great the population has increased in the past 20 years in the city. And then this basically is showing we have the entire water system in GS and a water model. And so what we do is when new stuff comes in, we run the water model. and we're like, okay, now we only have this much water left. And so we try to keep up with it whenever we have pre-development meetings with anybody, because obviously we don't want to say we can provide water if we can't. And this one just shows the different land use codes with the city limits. That one's a 15-year growth where, you know, maybe some people annex in and get city water. And then, so these are the improvements that we're recommending from the water master plan. They don't, they don't have to be done all at once, but, you know, looping water lines, because that'll help with the pressures. The existing pump station and well improvements, backup power, and addition and replacement of pumps. We are looking at the existing pump station by the police station is over 40 years old, so it probably will need to be replaced. And then replace all non-PVC water lines with PVC water lines, and like I said, that primarily be in Old Town Manor. Additional fire hydrants need to be added to some of the lines in the older part of the city, and that would also help with people's insurance and stuff to get them fire coverage, because there's limited fire hydrants. When the older part was constructed, there weren't strict rules like they have now, where fires, like, you have to have them every 100 feet. And then begin water valve maintenance and replacement. What we've noticed when we've had to shut the system down, some of the valves don't work, and when that happens, you have to shut down more portions of the city than you should have to. So that is one of the recommendations, is, you know, get everything inventoried and start maintaining it and replacing what needs to be done. So this is just a rough estimated cost. Yes, I noticed. But yeah, as the city grows, the other thing is, with these, we will be coming back with the advisory committee, and we will be updating the water and wastewater impact fees to hopefully increase those fees to help cover some of these costs. Are there any
Questions or comments, council members? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve and adopt the Manor Water Master Plan.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wallace. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilwoman Messmer. Any questions to the motion? Being done, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Let's see. Oh, things scrolled up for 1 second. There we go. All right. Consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution setting up a public hearing date on the land use assumptions, service areas, and capital improvement projects of the roadway impact fee. Yes, ma'am.
So it's been a while. The impact fees for water and wastewater were completed in July of last year, and then the committee moved on to looking into roadway impact fees. So basically, they're one-time fees. They work like water and wastewater impact fees. You know, be based on the number of vehicle miles for that a development will add to the city. But I will tell you, the roadway impact fees are a little bit different. They're based on service areas. Service unit is a vehicle mile instead of LUE. So there are calculations I can go into later on after the presentation and kind of explain that. And basically, there are 3 categories: retail, services, and basic for non-residential, and then there's residential. Service areas, this is different than the wastewater impact fee or water impact fees, because water and wastewater is for the entire city. For roadway impact fees, you have to split the city into service areas. So the committee came up with 3 service areas for the city. And then after we came, and I think there's a map later on that shows that, and then there's a process to come up with the vehicle miles. There's calculations about whether it's retail, if it's office, if it's industrial, if it's single family. So these are this map shows the 3 service areas. You can see there's different colors. We tried to be evenly spaced. Some parts of the city are going to have larger growth than other parts. And this map shows that. It shows what roads are county, what roads are TxDOT, what roads are on the thoroughfare plan that aren't necessarily there yet. And then so basically we went through, and it's like we would estimate the LUEs. For this one, we estimated that between 2023 and 2033, service area 1 would add roughly 17,621 miles. That's vehicle miles, that's not miles of road. It's just how much traffic was going to be on the roads in that service area. Service area 2 was 11,997, and service area 3 was 13,500. And so then what we went through was a process of, in each service area, we came up with projects. So that's kind of hard to read, but basically we came up with an estimated cost and basically used that. This ones were, so we estimate how much it would cost, and then based on those costs, we calculated the roadway impact fees. And so some cities have like a flat fee if it's residential and a flat if it's commercial. But what the committee decided was that there would be set fees for each service area. So just like water and wastewater, there's a max fee, and then there's a 50% impact fee. And so that's what those calculations were. Like I said, we try to get them as close as possible. It just, and then, so basically for this one, for a single family, it'd be the number of development units or the number of houses times the vehicle miles per unit, and there's a set number for that. And then it comes up with what their vehicle miles are for that development. And we take that and multiply it by the fee per vehicle mile for the that service area, and that's what it's due. So we came up with some estimates. So if you do the full price for service area 1, it's $1,455 per vehicle mile. If you do a 500 dwelling unit, it basically comes to $3 million just from that one 500 development project that can go towards road projects. So then we looked at office building, and it comes to $113,000. And then we looked at what it would be if we did only 50%, because right now for impact fees for water and wastewater, it's 50% of what the calculated fee is. So we looked at that. So basically, it cuts everything in half. And we have retail, and we've got industrial on there, same calculations. And so we just went through the different scenarios to show. This is service area 2. It's the same calculations for each one. There's just different amounts based on what projects will be required. We did calculations for the 50%. And then service area 3, we did those calculations, and then it just shows you those different ones. So not all cities have roadway impact fees. I can say you do get feedback from developers, because that's just an additional fee that they have to pay. But what this does is, the city can fund projects to fix city roads. It can't be used for any TxDOT or Travis County roads. So, like I said, and some of them, they have like high and low, some of them don't. And you can compare and see how many different service areas and miles other cities have. That these are a list of cities that do not have roadway impact fees. Some of them don't have water and wastewater impact fees either. And they, basically some city, we reach out to cities, and they're like, some of them are looking into it, like Buda, other fast growing cities, and then some basically are worried that adding additional impact fees to development may slow development. So, oh my gosh, go back.
My question in regards to this is, which of these roads on, I guess from, it says 762 on our slide, but it's the chart that has, where it's getting into, it's the chart right after it has, right after the graphic of project locations.
Uh-huh.
There's a pink chart that comes right after that one, and it's talking about service areas, and it has service area 1, and then it goes into 2. It's the little pink charts, and they one ends with 25 million, 12 million, and then 14 million. So in all those road projects, which of these are crucial for where we're at in our comprehensive plan or our current major projects that we're trying to do?
I would say probably in service area 1, which would be one back. That was the one that's got the most, because that's up there, 973 and Greg Lane. So some of the major ones that we've been talking about with the capital committee would be expansion of Greg Lane, adding turn lanes in, signal modifications. And so basically what we did, we looked at TIAs that were done for all the developments up there. We looked at the comprehensive plan, we looked at the thoroughfare plan, and we came up with the list of, that's where we came up with the list of projects with estimates.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this one we didn't really rank it because the impact fees for roadway improvements are a little bit different. Like I said, you have to do only projects in service area 1 can be utilize impact fees for service area 1. But the other caveat is you have to use those funds within a certain time frame, or you have to give them their money back. So we looked at other cities, and most cities didn't prioritize it, but I can say in the capital committee, we have been working to prioritize. And the top projects right now are off of Greg Lane. And then the next one would be Old Kimbrough, which is in service area 3.
Okay. Yeah, I would just like to make sure we're always connecting back to the comprehensive plan.
Right.
When
And
we
so,
get to a prioritization, or if we're seeing a lot of economic development or employment opportunities happening in a certain one of these service areas, that or we have safety concerns in a certain area, that we prioritize from, like, we set a prioritization criteria, and then we move forward from there, so that we don't fix an old road because it's an old road, but then over here we have 15,000 trips, and
Right.
it's not wide enough, or we don't have a east to west solution for a particular area.
right. And I believe at the next council meeting, there might be an overview showing some of those proposed projects.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, this one was just to come up with projects so we could set fee amounts and start collecting that stuff, because we need it. It's the same for water and waste. It's whenever everything gets approved and enacted. So if they record their plat next week and the fee's not in place, and they don't have to pay it. So like I said, we came in. It'll be like the water and wastewater impact fees. We'll come back in and we can update the projects and whatnot. But yeah, we are looking, we know what areas are growing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, and we've been discussing that with the capital committee.
Okay. Other questions, comments, council members?
Mayor and Council, I would think as we look long term, I know it's going to be a cost. We didn't really talk about it at the capital committee, but I know when you look at some neighborhoods, you look at the cost between concrete and asphalt.
Yes.
And so that's something, again, we want to dive into at some point, is to say where can we get the biggest bang for our buck.
Yeah.
It may be more cost up front, but just something to think about, because if the money's got to be set aside in these service areas, a lot of it's all the old asphalt. So that's things that we have to make sure, because some of the soils, and we might have to do something different with the geotech in some of those areas, because it's like Eggleston, you pave a road and then all of a sudden it's got cracks and there's no traffic.
Yes.
So there's some other areas that we've seen that hopefully we can learn from. Maybe we can do some things different, so we're not caught in a brand new road that needs to be serviced within a short time frame when the life expectancy should be 5 to 7 years, but now you're looking at 3 to 5 where you have to put money into a brand new road.
Well, and this goes back to a conversation I had with everyone, some months back, a lot of months back, in regards to how we ensuring projects that are coming in are economically sound to take care of themselves. And so really what we need to be doing is looking at the potential ad valorem that's coming from the project and ensuring that the project itself can take care of the community. And so when a neighborhood comes in, because right now what we're saying is new neighborhoods that come in, we're assessed this fee for them up front so that we can do A, B, C, and D. But if we up front say, hey, let's look at your project, let's look at the code, and let's try to figure out what we need to do with that so that your project can sustain itself. Because from every neighborhood and every project we bring in, water, wastewater maintenance stuff has to happen. Police services have to happen. And so we have to look at that project and look at that ad valorem and say, okay, what's this going to cost in municipal services and what's this going to cost in roadway impact? And does that, the annual ad valorem that comes into the city, does it generate enough income for it to be feasible for us? Because if it's not, then what we're doing is we're bringing in projects that just are indebting us. And what I don't want to do is be like those cities that are doing those impact fees, because most of those have a higher per capita income. And so we might, to do the things we need to do for our residents, we may price them out to take care of the things that they're asking us to take care of. And I don't want us to follow that same roadmap that those cities have done, and now they're dealing with affordability, and now the diversity of the city has changed dramatically. And so I want us to keep those things in mind. I think it's a lot more work up front, but what it does is it says you're going to build on this 80 acres, or your 80 acres needs to bring in this much money property tax wise. We need to give them that floor threshold, because then we'll know that money is going to take care of the area. It's 20 acres over here, and hey, you need to make sure that what you're going to do. And if they tell us, well, hey, you have a code issue that's preventing us from actually making that project a little bit more financially feasible or prosperous, then that's when we sit down with development services and whomever else needs to be there, and we talk about any variances that we need to make so that project can be financially feasible, not only for the owner but for the community. Otherwise, we'll be here to do fees, and then we'll be here to raise fees, because once you start, it doesn't stop. And so we have to have developments, because every development that's going to come into play, if we don't clearly look at that value, then all we're doing is taxing ourselves more. And so the general budget, the ad valorem budget, should be covering the cost of these things. If it's not doing it, then I understand some of what we're doing is fixing 15, 20 years of work that didn't happen.
Unfortunately.
And so some of these things will be for a while and then it'll cut off. But moving forward, like, we have to ensure that everything we build now is sustainable, self-sustaining. I mean, that's part of our mission and vision as a city, is to have, sustainability. That the decisions we make now, that we're able to sustain. And so if you all can simultaneously, as you're looking at what we need to do to close gaps, look at the code, look at the opportunities, look at the projects that are coming, whether it be residential or commercial, and seeing what we need to do to ensure that their potential ad valorem is going to be high enough to take care of the maintenance and those kinds of things. Because then what we can do is use the fees to deal with past community needs, and all the new things that are coming in are self-sustaining.
When are those impact fees assessed? Is that during platting or permitting?
Yeah, it's platting. It's just like the water and wastewater impact fees. So, if you look in the ordinance, they've got different cutoff dates for different fee amounts, and it's based when it gets platted.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Y'all will come back to us next meeting. Is it this month or April? I mean, or June?
It has to be per the state ordinance. It has to be 60-day notice.
Okay.
So once you pass the resolution, it's in the resolution. I believe it's the July meeting, the first meeting in July, I think is when it's scheduled to be, where we'll come back.
Okay. Okay. Is there, would it be appropriate for Capital Improvements Committee to maybe carve out time between now and then to start looking at how to build projects that can be sustainable?
Yes, that's fine. I think they were already in the process of narrowing it down and kind of creating the priorities of how to present it to council for I guess for the introductory time later this month, and then when we actually have our budget committee meeting.
Okay.
And so maybe the earlier, now that you said it now, we just had our meeting on Monday, and so we
Yeah,
can
I
try
think
to.
the next one's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think so.
So we can
Okay.
definitely relay what you just said to them to see if they can.
Okay. Again, I understand that we still have an immediate need, and so something has to be done. But just that can, if we can do that, then that can be just as powerful because it's working with the potential developer in the situation to build more or to do a little bit more because it's going to help with the sustainability of the project.
Yeah.
I wanted to add just a quick, also just adding it to part of the financial part of it, that we are also working with the committee to plan with all the other entities that are also doing projects to do some cost sharing and kind of tie in to make sure that we're not doing and undoing work. So we do have a master plan and a map to kind of tie in all our projects and all of the other entity projects to kind of have some continuity.
Okay.
And I can say, council, just from meeting as regular as we have been, we also looked at an opportunity maybe with the county is if we can, like Councilmember Mexico said, is do an ILA. So that way we have some cost sharing opportunities when we know and look at the map. And that'll be helpful for us to make sure that county, we work together because we've had some missed opportunities because we didn't have something in place to leverage their costs to a need for us to make some repairs right next to their project. So the goal for us is to see, we see it coming, is just to make sure the county and even TxDOT can see the benefit of us willing to put a project on the table and maybe have some funds to pay our share.
All right. I'll take a motion or another question.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion. The City Council accept the process to move forward with the adoption of the roadway impact fees and approve resolution number 2025-20, setting a public hearing date on the land use assumptions, services area, and capital improvement projects for the roadway impact fee.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? Questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passed 7-0. Consideration, discussion, possible action on the site development landscape variance for Kitty Academy. Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, my name is Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Maynard. This variance is for, as it states, the Kitty Academy. Essentially, what they are wanting to vary from is the foundation landscaping requirement, in which essentially 50% of your primary facade has to have landscaping along the foundation, either in the ground or in planters. However, for them, along this portion of their building, they have fencing for individualized play areas or evacuation purposes for the children in front. So to that point, you wouldn't be able to see it. And with children out there constantly, it'd most likely be ripped out of the ground anyways. So they're requesting that this particular portion of our landscape code be not required of them. they will still be meeting the other requirements of our landscape code, as well as the quantity, which involves the landscaping monument. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I cannot speak tonight. The foundation landscaping will be accounted for in other portions of their site. This is just being varied due to the inability to see it or maintain it with children out there.
All right. Parks, trees. Y'all's thoughts, questions?
There is an
Yeah.
exhibit that gives a bit of a rendering of what it looks like that may be of use.
So basically everything that's not going to be in that particular area will be somewhere else.
Yes, sir. They'll still meet the minimum foundation. I keep saying foundation. Landscaping requirement.
Okay. Questions?
They will not have to pay any in lieu fees. They will have all of the trees that they're supposed to have.
That is correct. They will have all of the required plantings.
All right, thank you.
To clarify, your foundation landscaping is typically shrubs or other small plantings. It's more decorative than anything.
Okay, I'll take questions or a motion.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to make a motion that City Council approve a site development landscape variance for the Kitty Academy.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilwoman Amesquire. Any questions to the motion? Any additional questions to the motion?
I have a question. I guess what the difference in the code for us to do for them to qualify, I guess, for meeting our code, is it in there already to where there's a difference for it to be an educational site? Because I guess the only reason that they needed the variance is because they have emergency exits and things like that, and that's the reason why?
Yes, it's specifically because these are areas that are essentially fenced off to allow for the monitoring and safety of the children in the event that, one, they're outside playing or some other reason, or they have to evacuate the building. So that's why this fencing is there, which would, in that case, hinder the view of the foundation landscaping, in which the intent is for it to be decorative, more of an aesthetically pleasing addition to your landscaping.
I think, are they under the same fencing protocol as school districts for safety?
I purely went based on the actual code of ordinance, which ours doesn't speak directly to the school district safety code, but we do have the developer here in the event you would like to ask them further questions on.
Yeah, come on up. It's just a wonder I have, because of all the institutions that are working with children have to have a certain amount of fencing around for safety with all the different violation stuff. So I was just wondering if the fencing piece was also because of that requirement.
I'm not sure if it's the same, but the reason why the fence is outside that you can't see it is we want to make sure that if a child, specifically an infant or even all the way to fours, if they accidentally leave the emergency room, they don't have direct access to the parking lot and roads.
Yeah.
That's why we have it there.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I was just wondering, curious if those same requirements were passed down to child care centers or not. But I understand why you need a fence, though.
Yeah, this fencing is actually a Kitty Academy corporate requirement that's applicable to all other daycares nationally.
Yeah. Thank you. Other questions? Being none? All right. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving right along to number 17, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a site development variance regarding parking for the Kitty Academy. Yes, sir.
So this variance comes more so to come into compliance with the Travis County Emergency Services District. There's an additional turnaround if you look at the exhibit on the northeastern side that is required per the fire department's review, and that unfortunately removes some of their parking. So this is to allow them to meet that fire safety standard.
Questions, council members?
Since this is the second variance that's being asked for Kitty Academy, I'm wondering, should we review our requirements? Because it seems like it's not, we're taking considerations of things that maybe we should think about ahead of time.
So with this site in particular, if you recall, there was an actual shared parking that was an additional access to the lot, but with the reconfiguration of the apartments in this one, that no longer exists. So this is more of a reaction to the changing of the configurations of the lot as opposed to the standard set before, because previously they had more than enough parking. They wouldn't have needed the variance, but since that additional parking was removed, we now have to make accommodations. But to that point, we are indeed, I've already instructed my staff as well as our consultants to look at any inconsistencies or contradictions in our code so we can make a bit of an overhaul so it's more streamlined for the future.
Thank you.
Questions? Other questions? Take a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that the City Council approve a site development variance regarding parking for the Kitty Academy.
Well, motion on the floor by Councilwoman Weir. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're not doing 18, so we're going to 19. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on a resolution accepting the petitions for voluntary annexation of a 25.245 acre tract and a 45.838 acre tract, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, provided for an open meeting and other related matters. Yes, sir.
This item is a part of the Manor Springs development that is being contemplated and negotiated currently by staff and developer. This item essentially accepts the resolution to set the public hearing to allow for the consideration of annexation into our city limits. There are multiple items because different tracts have different owners, and to keep things clean and concise, we've separated them by owner.
Questions, council members? No questions? I'll take a motion.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-21, accepting the annexation petitions for the 25.245 acre tract and 45.838 acre tract, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meetings and other related matters, and setting a public hearing for the annexation.
Well, motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, oh, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had looked at the wrong one. Was there a map for this one of where it was actually located? And then the second part of that was only because with the annexing of it, does it skip a space? Or Manor, ETJ, City of Austin, or Travis County, where we have to provide services to get to this new area that will be annexed.
There will be no gaps in the, I guess, contiguity, if that's the correct word. It will be completely contiguous with our city limits, starting from the eastern side of Kimbrough, going into the development, south to Litigan, north to 290, where it touches each areas. And it's all one large property. There won't be any gaps. As for an exhibit, there's a meets and bounds description, but there was not an actual like drawing to go with it. But if you do recall, when we had our workshop, there was a rendering that was provided that showed the entire property, which can be provided again, just so there's more clarity on where exactly the area is located. No, it's no problem. I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
Other questions? I'll take a motion. We got a motion on the floor? Oh, that was the additional, that's right. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for the reminder. All right, moving on to 20. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on a resolution accepting petitions for voluntary annexation of a 56.652 acre tract and a 118.76 acre tract, more or less being located in Travis County and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meeting and other related matters. Yes, sir.
This is another set of parcels being included in the annexation for the Manor Springs development. This would essentially accept the resolution, setting the public hearing date and allowing for the annexation process to commence.
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-22, accepting the annexation petitions for the 56.652 acre tract and the 118.76 acre tract, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meeting and other related matters, and setting a public hearing for annexation.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Moreno. Any questions to the motion? No questions? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to number 22, consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution accepting petition for the voluntary annexation of 142. Oh, I'm sorry, 21. Consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution. Hold on. There we go. On a resolution accepting a petition for voluntary annexation of 161.49 acres, more or less, being located in Travis County and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meeting and other related matters. Same thing?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, council members?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-23, accepting the annexation petition for 161.49 acres, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meetings and other related matters, and setting a public hearing for annexation.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a change we need to make? Are we good? You're good?
We're good.
Okay. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Now, number 22, consideration, discussion, and possible action on the resolution accepting the petition for voluntary annexation of 142 acres, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meeting and other related matters. Any other questions for this one? Okay, we'll take a motion.
Alrighty. Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-24, accepting the annexation petition for 142 acres, more or less being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for an open meetings and other related matters, and setting a public hearing for annexation.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All in favor? All right. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on ordinance amending Article 1.05 of the City of Maynard Code of Ordinances to create Healthcare Services Committee, Public Improvement District Committee, Parks Committee, and Capital Improvements Committee, providing for members of the committee's meetings and their purpose. All right, council members, this is just kind of legitimizing or putting in place the same system across the board for our other committees. Does anyone have any questions? Is that the name you went with, Healthcare Services? Healthcare Services Committee?
Is that the new name?
I'm asking y'all. Yeah, those y'all on the committee. Y'all want
Never heard of this name before.
Okay. Okay. Yes. All right, welcome. Will do. I thought y'all was trying to be fancy. Yeah.
Mayor Council would like to make a motion that we table item number 23 until after the executive session.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to table item number 23 after executive session. Councilman Moreno, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Number 24, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a resolution amending resolution number 2024-20 and resolution 2024-37. This is dealing with the framework of the Maynard Youth Advisory Council team, and take a look at the language below and see if you have any questions. Okay, I'll take questions. If there's any clarifying questions needed. If there are no questions, I'll entertain the motion. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, Shruti Vanaparthi, Assistant City Attorney. The packet includes a cover memorandum that includes the research that was conducted for the Youth Advisory Commission program. It lists out the edits that were made along with the research that we found through other cities in Texas. And we've also attached exhibits of what we've used as references to the edits that we've made.
Yeah. And thank you for the detailed information, because I like a lot of some of the examples have some stuff that I'm not sure that we covered on the onset, so this is good information. Especially the Texas Youth Commission. Any questions?
I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question. For the permission slip, is that something that would change per event? Or would it be one permission slip that allows you to, so you don't have to get parent permission, I guess, every time? If it was is that how it's written?
So we've kind of made it for the event, I believe, and we can let me just double check. It's for each event, and for the dates that they will be traveling.
Other questions?
So is it saying when they, with whatever type of event they do, they need 2 chaperones?
Well, this is for the overnight travels, or anything that is that has an extensively long travel period. And if there are additional edits that are needed, then we can make those edits and bring them back in front of council.
Other questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
Thank you guys, honestly, for all this work. I mean, it's something that we needed, so I really appreciate it. And with that being said, as mayor council, like to make a motion that city staff wait. That city council. Oh, I mean, there's really nothing in there.
Oh, just to provide direction.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess to go ahead and I mean.
Okay. So
These are just recommendations. So
Okay.
if
when are you going to bring it? Are you going to bring it back for us to vote on?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to bring it back for us to vote on, or these the direction will be to just update from?
Yeah.
Mayor, council. Yes, so our legal is asking for direction. They'll come back with the draft resolution with any changes. So you still have time to review it. If you do have changes, go ahead and just email Mr. Moore and myself, and we can forward it to legal so we can present it probably in the June meeting. The 21st meeting is pretty much already completed. Yes.
Awesome. So we got our homework. All right. Thank you very much. Are we coming back? Oh, we said after break. All right. So City Council will now convene into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in it.
worked out a time and a day, you know, the day he come and he did it. It was hotter than full blazes, but he got everything done. Yeah. I was happy. I've been just singing praises the whole time. Then there's just a couple of little things I told him to check on that he said there's some salvage yard that he could get some more things, little things I asked about replacing or tightening up. But
Then they come